Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Keep getting your green gear 25% off. Promo code Jericho1, all caps, and the number 1. So, guess what, guys? You know the Olympics are coming up this summer. They haven't officially started yet, but the bullshit has. So there's some Olympic trials in Oregon. So there's this Olympic athlete named Gwen Berry. She's a female athlete, a real female athlete, New Zealand. And so she's a hammer thrower, and they were doing the awards, whatever, qualifying, and her and two other ladies are standing on the podium. They're playing the national anthem, and they are turned with their hands on their heart facing the flag or wherever the music's coming from. And what is Gwen Berry doing? She is standing there looking like she just smelled a turd. But this is not her first time disrespecting. Oh, and also during the anthem, she held up a t-shirt over her head that said, "Activist Athlete." See, it's all in the timing, you activist athletes. This is not the time for you to be an activist. This is the time for you to be an athlete. Being an athlete allows you to be an activist. It gives you the platform. Press conferences, events. That's where you espouse your beliefs, is at those events, those situations, not while you're on the podium and while they're playing the national anthem. But she did some bullshit, I guess in 2019. She put her black fist in the air. For what? I was talking to my brother today. Happy birthday to you. And we were talking about things, and we were talking about how people want to be victims. And he was telling me that he thinks the reason people want to be victims is because when you're a victim, you can do whatever you want. You're protected by the magical cloak of victimhood, just like a child. They're given much more rope than an adult. So a victim, hey, it's not your fault. You're affected by outside sources. Therefore, you can act however you want. What did that stupid ass mayor in Baltimore say? Was it Baltimore? I think so. Where she says, or Baltimore or DC, same thing. And she said, let them destroy. They're victims. They've been hurt. They've been persecuted. They've been oppressed. That's their favorite word. That word gets them the wettest, the most moist. So when you're a victim, you have carte blanche, as they say. You can do whatever the fuck you want because it's not your fault. You're affected by outside sources, things outside of your control. So she's up there and she said it was a setup. They played the national anthem when they knew she wasn't paying attention. Well, dummy, just because they set you up, you gotta fall for it? That makes you even dumber if you saw it coming and you still did it. But these dummies don't understand. Now is the time for you to be an athlete so that later you can be an activist. She got it all mixed up. So she said she didn't want to be up there. They played it at the wrong time. She was hot. Oh, you poor thing. You were hot. You didn't want to be up there. They played it at the wrong time. Wrong. They talked to one of the officials. They said it plays at the same damn time every day. It's not like the Olympics where they play the national anthem of the winner. It's different. And they knew that. But she was hot. I guess it's hot in Oregon. They do got a little heat wave going through there. You know who else was hot? I was hot. When I was in boot camp and I was graduating and I was standing on the tarmac on the blacktop for 3 hours waiting for an admiral to show up. I was hot. You know who else was hot? Them soldiers over there in Afghanistan and Iraq in the desert. They're hot. You know who else was hot? All the civil rights activists who were real activists, who went through the real bullshit, so you can stand up there and act a fucking fool during the national anthem and not have something put around your neck afterwards. They were hot. It gets hot in the South. Anybody from Alabama? Anybody from Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, all through there, it's hot. That's where the civil rights activists were doing their thing. They were hot too. The struggle is over. They already did that, so we don't have to. Stop acting oppressed. Stop wanting to be oppressed. Be an adult, take your lumps, and shut your mouth. You're an athlete. You throw a piece of metal on a chain for a living. It's not that serious. Shut the fuck up. They set me up. Then why'd you fall for it, dummy? If you knew the setup was coming, why'd you fall for it, idiot? The Olympics haven't even got here yet, and they're already doing some bullshit. And so I guess in January of 2020, the Olympic Committee said that athletes were not allowed to protest. Then a few months later, they bent under the pressure and said, all right, we'll allow kneeling and other forms of stupidity to be shown by athletes. The Olympics aren't even here yet. And it was, I think Dinesh D'Souza was saying that these woke-ass American athletes are going to have us rooting for foreign athletes because they have respect and love for their country and they save their bullshit personal feelings for another time. You're supposed to be up there representing us, running your hardest, throwing your hardest. Whatever you do, do it the hardest for your country. You guys remember the feeling of watching the Olympics, the pride? When America would get the gold and we hear our national anthem and I have to hear some other bullshit country's national anthem that we don't even know the words to? That feels good. It feels good to know your team is winning no matter how big the team is. If you fall under that flag, so to speak, pun intended, then that's who you root for. Save the bullshit for later. What did my RDC and boot camp used to tell us? I'm tired of the bullshit. Petty Officer Floyd, I'm tired of the bullshit. Man, he was mean as shit. You know, let me tell you a quick boot camp story. So one time, somebody had the bright idea to steal a package of peanut butter from the galley, from the mess decks. That's a no-no. So our RDC said, all right, since you guys want to steal shit, it is time to pay. So we had to put on all of our uniforms, and I mean all of them, pea coat, sweatsuit, dress blues, our boots, covers, and we cycled. Cycled is when they make you do exercises until they see fit, till they see it's time to quit. Other branches call it getting bent. What do they call it? My buddy, he was in the Marines. Thrash. There's all kinds of stuff. It means the same damn thing. You're about to hurt and sweat. So they had us doing all kinds of exercises, all the classics, the side straddle hops, you know them as jumping jacks, flutter kicks, bicycle kicks, leg lifts, push-ups, even some shit they made up. The windows were sweating on the inside. The wax was coming off the floor. We were drenched. You're sitting there in push-up position, just creating a puddle with all the sweat coming off your forehead. And guess what, dumbass Gwen Berry? We were hot too. The wax was coming off of the floors. And then finally, some dude had to throw up. And I remember him running in front of us. We were in push-up position. They told him to get to the head. He runs through the barracks. Every time he took a step, blah, 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 and he just fucking throwing up these little puddles all over the floor. And we got in trouble for that shit too. I'll never forget that, man. I had never seen it get so hot in a room that the wax was coming off the floor. We did that. We were hot too, you idiot. Why do you want to be a victim? Why do you want to be oppressed? No one who's ever really been oppressed wants to be oppressed. Nobody who's ever really been through real communism wants to do it again. I feel sorry for all the people that came here from communist countries. I'm sorry that you were fooled. I'm sorry that they did the old bait and switch. But you know what, guys? There's more. You know, these dumbasses are going to do it again when the Olympics start. But let me get home with my beautiful wife and kids. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Get your Jericho Green notification tone, link in the description box. Utilize the PayPal link and the Teespring link to get your green gear. I am Jericho Green.